What's up, everyone? Justin here, back, sadly, with another wrestling tribute show for one of the absolute legends of wrestling. Just absolute legends. Hall of Famer. Just, my God, he was great. And I loved him. I loved his work. Loved his promos. He was awesome. The legendary. And when I was born in the 80s, early 80s, he was already in wrestling. He was already a veteran in it for a long, long time. So I saw his later career when he's in his 40s, late 40s, early 50s in the ECW. That's when I saw him. WWF Attitude Run, or Attitude Era Run in late 97. He was there in 98 also. He's part of a dumpster match at WrestleMania 14 with his partner, this guy, against the New Age Outlaws. Who am I talking about? This is a tribute show to the late, great, absolute living, hardcore living legend, Terry Funk. The Funker. Terry was up there. He was up there. He got to live a long life. He was up there. And I'm glad he got to live a long life past his 70s. What a career he had. What a fucking run. What a run. So this is my tribute show to Terry Funk. I gotta do it. Gotta do a tribute show for him. He deserves it. Honestly, he was one of my favorites. He is just an absolute legend. He's up there with... He's on the level of guys like Hogan, Piper, Dusty, Flair, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Seems like every legend is almost gone. Just about, almost. I can't think of that many that are left. Except Hogan, Jake the Snake from like the 80s. Or late 70s, early 80s. Hogan, Jake the Snake, Ricky Steamboat. That's 3. Rock and Roll Express. But not many more old school wrestlers are alive. That guy right there, sadly, Scott Hall, died way too fucking young. So, I saw the news on my phone from not formerly Twitter, not on X. I didn't see it from X. Break it down. If you know the DX theme. I think stupid Elon Musk, I think he was watching old DX matches and saw the DX Titantron video and thought, I'll call Twitter X because of DX. That's probably where he got the fucking name. Stole it from the Attitude Era. I wouldn't be shocked if he did. But, yeah, I actually saw it on the new type of Twitter, Threads. I'm on Threads. It's like Facebook's Twitter, or Instagram's Twitter, but Facebook owns Instagram anyway. I don't got a problem with Threads. I like it. I don't have many followers, but that's okay. It's new. Not a lot of my friends are on it. Only my Instagram friends are a part of Threads. But I don't care about how many followers I got. I just joined Threads because I already have an Instagram account, and Maybe X will get shut down someday because they're bankrupt or something. I don't fucking know. So, I saw the news on Threads. WWE put out a thread with this photo. Sadly, that Terry Funk has passed away. That's how I found out the news. From Threads, not Twitter. And my God, years and years and years and years, I always found out about wrestlers' deaths, sadly, from Twitter before. But I didn't go on X when I first wake up. I don't go there every minute of the day. So, yeah, Terry Funk, before I start and talk about his career, his absolutely legendary, iconic career, before I talk about it. My God, I'm sweating. It's hot as fuck. I got a fan on me, but it's not really helping that much. It's hot as fuck outside today and tomorrow. It was 102 degrees and it felt like 118 or something. It's insane. Go the fuck away, heat wave. Go away. I fucking hate the heat. I wish it was snowing. I would rather take snow over 100 degrees. So I'm not going to put a hat on. Maybe I will later. I don't want to sweat all over my hats. And this hat is a new one. One of my favorite teams. I don't want to fucking sweat and ruin the hat. So anyways, I got a ton of hats so I could wear. You got a super old, I'll put this on, super old Atlanta Braves hat. It's beat the fuck up and dirty. Because I sweat on it a lot, but I don't care. It's old. It's a cheap hat anyways. I don't like snapbacks. I don't like really snapback hats anymore. I don't barely wear them. I like all fitted hats. Anyways, Terry Funk, his passing made a ton of news everywhere. I'm sure Japan is really going to talk about it. Or put him in their newspapers. Or talk about him on the news. Because Terry Funk was really, really, really popular in Japan. His brother also, Dory Funk Jr. was also really popular. They were the Funk brothers. They went to Japan a lot as a team. Terry, I think, only worked in All Japan. Mostly All Japan Pro Wrestling and then FMW. And I think that's about in IWA Japan. The deathmatch company, it was called IWA. So I think he worked for only like 3 companies in Japan, maybe more, I don't know. But his passing made a lot of news. Let me get to it. Got the page opened here. Fox News reported it. I thought Terry was close to 80. Thought he might have been 82. He was 79 years old. Terry Funk, 79. A lot of wrestling sites. I'm not going to give them shout outs because they don't deserve it. Except for Fightful. They deserve it because they follow me on X. So I'll shout them out. Fightful. IGN, they had a story about Terry Funk, the New York Post, New York Times. See all these stories about Terry Funk. Ton of them. ESPN. I don't know why they're showing a WWE Championship. Terry was never WWE or WWF or WWF champion. Terry never held a world title in the WWE. or F or WWF. TMZ, they love to report about pro wrestling because it gets them a lot of clicks, I believe. WWE.com or WWE on Twitter. Also, Deadline. So, yeah, Terry and a ton of wrestlers. A lot of wrestlers. Mostly on Twitter. I don't know when Google is ever going to change Twitter's name to just X, because here it says Twitter still. So people aren't going to drop saying Twitter. But anyways, Mick Foley did a tweet about it. Mick Foley, and they're not even fucking called tweets anymore. How fucking stupid. They're called posts. No, they're still tweets to me. Mick Foley said Terry Funk is gone. He talked to his daughter, who gave him the awful news. And I'm going to click on this to read the full tweet from the legendary Mick Foley, because him and Terry Funk were super close. Terry Funk was a mentor to Mick Foley and his favorite wrestler also. And just think about it, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack's the only guy that got to team with Terry Funk during the Attitude Era. And one of the hottest periods in wrestling, Mick Foley got to team with his fucking idol. That's awesome. And his mentor. And his hero. And nobody in wrestling, I've never heard a bad word ever from any former wrestlers or anybody that worked with him. I never heard anybody say a bad word about Terry Funk. Nobody ever say he was a jerk or an asshole or nothing bad. Why? Because he was a great guy and he had no fucking ego. He had no ego. He put over younger guys. He put over guys that were like nobodies sometimes that didn't deserve it. I mean, jeez, he put over a lot of guys. He put over Raven, or no, I don't know if he put over Raven, but he defeated Raven for the ECW World Title. And I'm not calling Raven a jobber. He's not. He was not a jobber. But Mick Foley goes on to say, but my point is, Terry Funk had no ego. Did not have an ego like a lot of guys do. Flair did, Dusty did, Hogan did, Savage, Randy Savage, a ton of guys that were top guys had big, giant egos. Piper, I don't think he had that big of an ego, but he wouldn't put over Hogan in the 80s. He wouldn't lose to him. And that's smart of Piper, but he wouldn't lose to Hogan. It wasn't to hurt him. Anyways, Mick Foley goes on to say, he was my mentor, my idol, one of my closest friends. A lot of wrestlers, when they get out of wrestling, they're not friends. Some don't even fucking like each other and they work together. Some hate each other. But seriously, it's been explained by a lot of former wrestlers, if you can get out of wrestling and have 5 close friends on one hand, you'll be lucky. Very lucky. So, yeah, here's a picture of Mick Foley in his Twitter with Terry. I love Mick Foley. I love Terry Funk. So just horrible that Terry's gone. I feel really sad and very very sad for all his friends that knew him well. Guys like Mick Foley, Tommy Dreamer, and others. Paul Heyman, you should feel really sad because Terry Funk absolutely put ECW on the map in 93, 94. Even 95 when he showed up. Terry Funk absolutely helped ECW the most and deserves a ton of credit for putting ECW on the map. So, Paul Heyman, I hope you make a long statement somewhere about what Terry Funk meant to you and meant to ECW. Because without Terry Funk in ECW, Paul Heyman would have probably not got the company as over as it got and as big as it got. I mean, Terry Funk, he meant so much to ECW that Paul Heyman let him win the world title, gave him the world title on the first pay-per-view, and the show ended. That's how much Terry Funk meant to a little promotion in Philadelphia. That became legendary, in my opinion. ECW became legendary. It wasn't just a little bingo hall indie promotion. It got on pay-per-view. It got 2 video games. It got music CDs released. It got ECW magazine released. It got action figures. ECW actually had action figures. So they were a main number 3 company, in my opinion. They were number 2. When WCW was not doing well at the end of 98, in my opinion, ECW took over as the number 2 company. To me, I enjoyed it more. In the start of 99, ECW was killing WCW. So to me, they were number 2. Always. But not during, like, 96, 97. But I'm going to finish what Mick Foley wrote. He says he's his closest friend. He was the greatest wrestler I ever saw. And my God, he was a great worker. Terry Funk was such a great worker and wrestler. And just everything. Seller. He could sell with the best of them. He could scare the fuck out of you. Like he was legit gonna beat you up. And you legit would run away from him. I've seen a lot of Terry Funk get in the crowd. Indie shows in Japan. And he legit scared the fans because he'd start throwing chairs. And like he was a crazy man. Middle-aged and crazy. I thought he was nuts when I was a fan watching in the early 90s, late 80s. I was like, Terry Funk is fucking nuts and he's a scary, scary, bad motherfucking man. I mean, when he power drove Ric Flair on that table at Wrestle War 89, when he did that to Flair, I was like, holy fuck, he basically broke Ric Flair's neck almost and beat the fuck out of him. And my God, great series of matches with Ric Flair in 89 and a great, great feud and rivalry. Ric Flair, Terry Funk in 89 was great. Halloween Havoc 89, that main event was great. It was a tag match, Sting, Flair against Great Muta, Terry Funk. That was awesome. I still watch that match and I still love it. Clash of Champions 9. I Quit match. Legendary. Great. Let's go back to the summer. 89. Great American Bash 89 on pay-per-view. Terry Funk, Ric Flair. It was awesome. It wasn't I Quit, but felt like it was a street fight because they were outside the ring Ric Flair got busted open. It was a brawl, and it was awesome. And I think everything Terry Funk did was good in his whole career. Everywhere he went, he did good or great shit. Just absolutely great work. Florida Championship Wrestling, NWA, WCW in '89. And he was not a bad commentator. Terry Funk was a commentator on Wrestle War 90 and I think Clash of Champions. Wrestle War 90 and Starrcade 89, he was a commentator. I thought he was good. And my God, just outside of wrestling, the work he's done in movies, awesome. So everywhere he went, I thought he was great. WWF in 86, 85, I thought he did good shit. He was managed by Jimmy Hart. And then early 90s, I think he was in Japan and on the Indies. FMW against Onita, exploding ring match. That was legendary from 93. That's a legendary fucking match. That's a death match I actually like. Onita Terry Funk from 93. And there's a thing, a baseball stadium. It was like 40,000 people there, I think. So his death matches I loved against Onita and Cactus Jack. His stuff in ECW was great. I loved it. Then he would go back and forth. In 94 he went to WCW, did some good shit. He was part of War Games on 94. Left. I'm kind of blitzing through his career because I don't have the time to talk about his whole career. He wrestled for decades, but he left ECW 94, went back to WCW, was part of War Games 94. That was good shit. He was part of the Stud Stable, and with Colonel Parker and Bunkhouse Buck mostly. But I liked him in WCW 94. Then 95 he returned to ECW and he worked in Japan in the death matches against Cactus Jack. They're part of the death match finals of the tournament. Insane death match. It was brutal. Brutal to watch. And Terry Funk and Mick Foley, two of the toughest fucking wrestlers I've ever seen. Ever. They're up there as two of the toughest. The other guy I would say one of the toughest was Spike Dudley. That guy took a ton of punishment for his size. And he kept fighting back. Shout out to Spike Dudley. I hope that guy's doing well. And I hope he's not in a ton of pain. I would put, seriously, WrestleMania's in Philly, WrestleMania 40, I would put in Spike Dudley in the Hall of Fame with a ton of other ECW guys. Because Spike at least held some championships in WWE and ECW. He was a champion at least. Coco Beware, he's in the Hall of Fame. He never held a title for WWF. At least Spike Dudley was Cruiserweight Champ and ECW Tag Champs. And WWF Tag Champ with Taz. But this about Terry Funk. After 95, 96, he was in ECW a little. Not that much in 96. I guess he was taking a break or he was retired. I don't know. So really funny about Terry Funk. He wanted to retire a lot and then he would always come back and unretire. He wanted to retire in 89 after the Flair feud. Seemed like he was retired for a little bit, but he came back. And then, yeah, after 89, I think he wrestled again in 91 or 92 he started. after his ECW run with the world title, he was gone again. He was out of ECW, I want to say, in August of 97 when he lost at Hardcore Heaven 97 in a triple threat to Shane Douglas and Sabu. Before that, as I said, Terry Funk, in my opinion, Mick Foley, two of the toughest guys ever in wrestling. They just took a ton of punishment and they kept on going and going. I mean, seriously, all the punishment Mick Foley and Terry Funk took and gave to each other, I don't think anybody else on this planet would have took that and could take it. Just absolutely two of the toughest guys ever. To me. I'm not talking about guys that could fight and kick ass. I'm talking about just tough. That could take a ton of punishment and keep on going. But yeah, to me, Terry Funk, Mick Foley, Spike Dudley, the toughest wrestlers I've ever seen. Also, you could say Sabu. But my God, you want to talk about hardcore, extreme death matches. Terry Funk has been involved in like 3 of them that are just absolutely off the charts, insane. Some of the most extreme matches I've ever seen involved Terry Funk. All 3 of them. Against Onita, FMW in 93. Watch it, it's on YouTube somewhere. I think it's like a 20-minute match. That, when I first saw that, I was blown away. So, Onita, Terry Funk, FMW in Japan. That match is insane. ECW, Born to be Wired. Terry Funk, Sabu, barbed wire match. Insane. They both got caught in barbed wire, and they were like stuck together in the barbed wire. They couldn't get apart. It was insane, that match. Sabu ripped his bicep open, needed 100 stitches, but he just fucking taped it up and kept going. So definitely Sabu, also one of the toughest guys I've ever seen. One of the toughest wrestlers. So I guess my list is 4 guys. Terry Funk, number 1, because he had really, really bad knees. Really bad knees. He needed a knee replacement in 98. He was told in the documentary Beyond the Mat. Terry Funk was told by a doctor, you need to quit wrestling. I don't know how you're walking on your knees now. You shouldn't be able to walk around and not be in pain. But Terry Funk kept going after his Attitude Era run in 98. He came back to ECW at the end of 98. Was a heel. Turned on Tommy Dreamer. I didn't like that. I love Terry Funk as a heel. But I did not enjoy him attacking Tommy Dreamer and Tommy not fighting back. That actually pissed me off. Because I wanted Tommy to fight back. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't attack and hit his mentor. That was a great storyline, by the way. And then, beginning of 99, he showed up at Guilty as Charged, attacked Tommy, and then he was gone. I don't know if he had a disagreement with Paul Heyman, but he was gone. Would not appear in ECW again after Guilty as Charged 99. Actually showed up in XPW in 2000 and wrestled Sabu, I believe, for the world title. And then he wrestled again in XPW against Shane Douglas in 2002 at the ECW Arena. Which I thought Terry Funk in 2002, I thought he was still good. He couldn't move that quick. He was slower, but I still enjoyed his work and his promos and his talking ability. Terry Funk, I thought he was good in XPW. As I said, in 2002, he still was a very good promo. He told Shane Douglas, I think you killed WCW and you killed ECW. That was a good, funny line. Not true, but it was funny. And then after XPW, I would say Terry Funk was away for a few months. In 2003, he showed up, or ended 2002, he showed up in MLW. MLW was a new promotion. I found it on the Sunshine Network. I had a cable package with a whole bunch of Fox Sports channels. One of them was from Florida. Anyways, that's how I found MLW in the beginning of 2003. I was watching MLW every week on a Fox Sports Florida channel, the Sunshine Network. Anyways, Terry Funk was there in MLW. At the end of 2002, I think their event was called the Kings of Wrestling. He wrestled Dusty Rhodes and Steve Corino. Then he had a feud with Steve Corino in 2003. I thought it was good shit. Had a barbed wire match with Steve Corino in Florida. And they drew a pretty good house. Looked like 1,500 people to me, or 800, I don't know. But it looked like a good sold-out crowd. And then after 2003, I'd say that was June, he had a barbed wire match with Steve Corino. Then 2004, I want to say January, February, Terry Funk had another barbed wire match with Steve Corino, the MLW champion at the time. And still in 04, I thought it was good and I enjoyed Terry Funk. After 04, I think he wrestled a lot more on the indies. Might even went to Japan. His final match that I saw was he took on who the hell did he wrestle? Tommy Dreamer, maybe? I can't remember. But it was like a indie show, but it was on pay-per-view. I forget what the company was called. AIW or something. But Terry Funk was a part of it. I forget who he wrestled. I actually have the show on DVD. I think it was Tommy Dreamer he wrestled. I'm not sure. But after that, Terry Funk's final appearance in wrestling, or in a wrestling ring, I think was part of Tommy Dreamer's promotion. House of Hardcore, I think he was a part of it. For his final appearance, appearing in a wrestling ring. He might have appeared at a convention after that, I don't know. But I do know he appeared in Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore. I think he teamed with Tommy one more time. He teamed with him. I don't remember who, against who. But let's go to Mick Foley's post where he says, his final paragraph, and this is for all younger fans. If you were born way after Terry Funk stopped wrestling, I think his last match was, I don't know, I have to look it up. I think it was like way after 2013. But the younger fans, if you don't know who Terry Funk is, look him up, watch his matches, study him. Study his promos. You will absolutely just be entertained, and just his work was great, and you could learn a lot from watching Terry Funk. If you love wrestling or you want to be a wrestler, watch Terry Funk. He was ahead of his time, and he reinvented himself a couple times over. Because he started as NWA champion. Then in the late 90s, he was ECW world champion. So Mick says, if you get a chance, look up a Terry Funk match or Terry Funk promo. I will be a lot doing that all weekend. And Thursday and Friday I'll try to do it. Says, look up a match or Terry Funk promo and give thanks to this incredible man. Gave so much for so long. That is so fucking true. To so many, there will never be another like him. I agree. May God bless Terry, his friends, family, and all who loved him. R.I.P., my dear friend. It was an honor to know you. That is Mick Foley. A lot of other wrestlers had stuff to say. Paul Heyman, again, you need to say something. Seriously. You need to put out a long letter about Terry Funk and what he meant to and meant to the fans and meant to ECW. You need to either put that out on X or Twitter, or you need to say that on TV in a documentary or a Peacock special on Terry Funk. Paul Heyman did speak about Terry in the ECW DVD a lot, and he put him over. I truly believe without Terry Funk, ECW would have not got over as much as it did without him, because he helped all the younger wrestlers that were there. So all Paul Heyman did on this sad day Terry Funk is passed, the hardcore living legend from Amarillo, Texas. Middle-aged and crazy. The man started doing a moonsault. Started doing a backflip moonsault in 94. Insane. And he did it in 97, 98. Still. All Paul Heyman did is about... He didn't respond to Terry Funk's passing. He just did a repost and a retweet that WWE put out. Paul Heyman reposted it. That's all he did so far. On SmackDown, he should say something about Terry, or on a Peacock special they should make about Terry Funk. They got a lot of footage. WWE has all the Terry Funk matches from Florida Championship Wrestling and WCW, NWA, WWF, ECW. Seriously, WWE has a lot of, like Terry Funk's whole career almost in America. They don't have his Japan work, but you can find that on YouTube. Ric Flair put out a statement. All Elite Wrestling put out a statement. And, Dory Funk Jr., his brother. He's still alive. Dory Funk Jr. does not get enough credit. That guy was a great worker. A great world champion also. I believe he's NWA champion, I think. But Dory Funk also trained a lot of wrestlers. Helped a lot of wrestlers. I know Dory and Terry were one of the only brother teams to become NWA World Champion. The other is the Briscoes. Jack and Jerry Briscoe. Or Jerry was not NWA Champion, but his brother was. So here's Dory Funk Jr. He's actually on X. I didn't know that. He's probably been there for years. Still alive. That's awesome. Dory Funk Jr., I hope you're healthy and living a great life. Dory Funk Jr., here is his statement. It looks upside down, but I don't know why. But he put out a long tweet. It says, my brother, Terry Funk, was all in with life and loved pro wrestling and his fans. And Terry absolutely seemed like he always loved the fans. He's not a jerk, did not have an ego, was a great guy, Great wrestler, great worker, great promo, and great to the fans. He says Terry has been blessed with 2 beautiful, loving daughters. And then he goes, all my love to my brother Terry. And he put a broken heart emoji and a praying emoji. So I didn't know Dory Funk was on Twitter, but he is. So that's Dory Funk's statement. Bully Ray put out a statement on Twitter. Bully Ray says tonight's episode. He also put out an Instagram about Terry. Did Bully Ray. He was close to Terry and he called him his mentor. So Terry probably, I'm sure, helped Bully Ray a lot in ECW when he was younger. Or he helped a younger Bully Ray. And probably gave him advice, helped him a lot. So Bully says tonight's episode of Busted Open After Dark will be dedicated to a hero, a mentor, and a friend. Please call me and help me celebrate the life and career of Terry Funk. That's awesome. I'm going to have to listen to Busted Open After Dark to hear that tribute show on Busted Open. Hopefully Busted Open Friday, Saturday talks about Terry Funk a lot more in his whole career. Because Terry absolutely gave his life and his body to pro wrestling. Ric Flair put out a statement on Twitter. Ric Flair said, in my entire life I never met a guy who worked harder. And Ric Flair fucking worked hard. And he partied harder also. But Ric Flair, my God, he worked. He was like obsessed with being NWA champion on the road over 300 days. Says he never met a guy who worked harder than Terry Funk. He says Terry Funk was a great wrestler, entertainer, unbelievable, fearless, and a great friend. Rest in peace, my friend Terry Funk, knowing that no one will ever replace you in the world of professional wrestling. I agree. There's guys that probably loved Terry Funk in wrestling today. They will never ever replace him. Guys like Moxley, Eddie Kingston. You're not Terry Funk. You never will be. There will never ever be another Terry Funk. Never. Ever. Ever. I actually have his action figure, a Terry Funk action figure. I think it came out in 06 with Cactus Jack. It's a 2-pack. So I'll get it out in a second to share it with you. So there's a few statements from wrestlers that knew Terry Funk. Mick Foley, Ric Flair, his brother. I'm sure a lot of other wrestlers have posted about him. He's a WWE Hall of Famer, and Terry Funk is also probably better be in the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame also. So I'm going to go now and look up some, I'm not going off the tribute show, I'm going to look up some Terry Funk info. He debuted in 1965, and he retired in 2017. My goodness. 52-year career. Unbelievable. Terry Funk had a 52-year career and 52-year run. To me, Terry's better than Bruno. Better than a lot of other legends. Terry Funk is way up there. To me, he's way up at the top. He's with Bobby Heenan and Dusty Piper. To me, he's definitely far above superstar Billy Graham, who just passed away. So Terry Funk wrestled a lot for All Japan Pro Wrestling, ECW, FMW, USWA, Memphis Wrestling. I saw stuff against Jerry Lawler in USWA. I have it on DVD. It was good shit. He also worked WWF, WCW, NWA, Territories, Big Time Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Stampede Wrestling. He was also a promoter for Amarillo-based Western States sports promotion. He held a ton of titles: ECW World Title, NWA World Title, USWA World Title, WWF Tag Team Titles, ECW TV Title. He's a headliner on ECW's first pay-per-view. Oh my God, it was a great picture of the Funks from 1973. Terry's on the left. I believe that's Terry. I'm pretty sure. And that's his brother Dory from 73. So he worked for All Japan and from 72 to 91. All that shit was great that he did in All Japan. He teamed a lot with his brother. The Funks were heels up against Sheik and Abdullah the Butcher in Tokyo. They also later faced Stan Hansen and Bruiser Brody. That team was badass. He also had a feud with the Giant Baba, who was the owner of All Japan. WWF 85 to 86, or 85 into 86. He was part of WrestleMania 2, and then he was back at WrestleMania 14. Part of WCW in 89, and 90 and 94. He's been a part of so much history that happened in the wrestling business. Terry Funk was a part of it. Again, he was ahead of his time. He was an innovator. He reinvented himself a ton. Way more than fucking Jericho. Jericho to me is way the fuck down here. Terry Funk's way the fuck up here. Jericho in his head thinks he's a legend. He's not. He's not. Not to me. It was back in WCW before XPW or after XPW in 2000 and 2001. Was a hardcore champion in WCW. I enjoyed that stuff. Terry Funk against Norman Smiley for the hardcore title. That was good shit, I thought. Independence. TNA appeared in 2004 for NWA TNA. Returned to WWE in 2006 at ECW One Night Stand. That was good shit, I thought, where he teamed up with Tommy Dreamer against Mick Foley and Edge. Again, 2006, Terry Funk shouldn't have been wrestling. He couldn't move that very well, but I still loved seeing him and what he did at ECW One Night Stand 2006. I'm going to watch that back. I haven't watched it in a long time. Terry Funk, a part of ECW One Night Stand. I'm going to watch that match. I don't know how Terry took that bump off the apron through the barbed wire board. That was insane for his age. So it says he returned to WWE in 2006, 2009, 2013, 2016. He was inducted with his brother Dory in the 2009 Hall of Fame by Dusty Rhodes. So, and then in 2013, Terry Funk inducted Mick Foley. That was good shit. So, says that Terry Funk appeared on an episode of Raw in 2016 talking to Dean Ambrose to give him a pep talk for his match against Brock at WrestleMania 32, where Terry Funk gave Ambrose a gimmick, or presented Ambrose with a chainsaw because of his gimmick, Chainsaw Charlie. That's a great debut, by the way. I didn't understand why he's wearing the pantyhose on his... That was funny, but I didn't understand why Terry Funk wanted to wear pantyhose over his face as Chainsaw Charlie. That was a gimmick. But it was a great debut. He cut himself out of a wooden box with a chainsaw. That was good shit. That was a good debut. I mean, I obviously knew it was Terry Funk when I saw him as Chainsaw Charlie, but some fans might have not knew. He was also a part of the 98 Rumble, I believe. The 97 Rumble also. Did a tiny, one night, tiny short feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin on an episode of Shotgun Saturday Night in 97 before the Rumble. That was good shit. So, Terry Funk. God, one of a kind. Trying to look at when his last match was. I can't find it. 2017 he appeared, where he teamed with the Rock and Roll Express against Doug Gilbert, Jerry Lawler, and Brian Christopher. So Terry Funk was married a long time. Again, he was a good man. He was a great guy. He was never divorced. And his co-workers don't have a bad thing to say about him. Terry Funk was married to his wife in 1965, where he owned a ranch with his wife. Sadly, his wife died in 2019. And goes on to say Terry Funk was close friends with Sylvester Stallone. And Terry Funk did attend Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore shows. I don't know what year. But after, 2018 or 17 or 16. So in June 2021, Don Morocco said Terry Funk was diagnosed with dementia. Very sad that he had dementia. He did appear, the last time I saw him appear on camera was on Vice, Dark Side of the Ring, the Onita episode, I believe, the FMW Onita episode. He appeared on that. And he could still talk. It's not like he couldn't speak. So, and he was living, he had dementia, and he was living in an assisted living facility. I visited assisted living, and those places are pretty depressing to visit. My grandma's in there a couple years. But anyways, I know for sure, I know Tommy Dreamer visited Terry at the assisted living place, I believe. Also Mick Foley. I don't know what other wrestlers have. But every fucking wrestler, if you grew up knowing about Terry Funk, if you grew up seeing some of his matches, you better fucking pay respects to Terry Funk. You better go to his funeral. If he has one, I don't know. You better go to his funeral. You better, if you're a wrestler, or you knew him, or you were a fan. I was just a fan. Sadly, I never got to meet him and take a picture with him. I would have just said to him, Mr. Funk, thank you, Terry Funk, for all the decades of just entertainment and putting your body on the line. Thank you. I fucking bowed down to you, Terry Funk. You were one of the greatest of all time. You were one of my favorites to watch as a fan growing up. You absolutely made me love wrestling when I watched Terry Funk as a kid. When I watched him, I was like, this guy's real. The other stuff, I thought it might not be real, but I didn't care. Anyways, I'm just saying, when I saw Terry Funk as a kid, I was like, he's legit, he's tough as hell, he's the real deal. He's no one to fuck with, and he looks scary. Like, why would you want to piss him off? But in real life, he's not scary. Terry Funk, one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, by his peers and fans. Hardcore living legend, Terry Funk. The guy was absolutely one of a kind. Never will be another Terry Funk, ever. So it goes on to say, Ric Flair said that Terry Funk was out of assisted living and returned home and was doing well. Maybe he was. I don't know. I just hope he passed away with his daughters and his family around him. Terry Funk died on August 23rd, 2023 at the age of 79 years old. And he was in a lot of movies. I'm going to give you a list of his movies. He was in Paradise Alley, Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie with Sylvester Stallone. I liked Over the Top. Time Stalkers, never saw it. Roadhouse, I saw it, great movie. And Terry Funk was great in Roadhouse. He's in on other movies in 98, 99, 2004. He's in Friday Night Lights. He was playing a fan in the crowd, I guess. He was also in The Ringer, 2005. The Ringer was his last movie. Johnny Knoxville's in that. Yes, he is. I saw that movie. I enjoyed it. So, television. Terry Funk was in a lot of TV also. He's in a Swamp Thing episode in 91. Quantum Leap. And Thunder in Paradise. Dark Side of the Ring in 2021. Where he was in the FMW episode. My final thoughts on Terry Funk passing. You were one of a kind, innovator, ahead of your time, reinvented yourself many times over. You were a great wrestler, could work with anybody, put on a great match. From Raven to Sabu to Sandman to Cactus Jack to Bret Hart, Terry Funk to Hulk Hogan. Terry Funk never had a bad match with anybody. To Kevin Nash. He had a good match with Kevin Nash. That sold out 2000. I liked it. I don't care if you liked it, but I liked it. Everything Terry Funk did, I believed and I loved. Love you, Funker. I'll miss you. Thank you for all the memories and all the matches and all the blood spilled. All the blood, sweat, and tears. Just thank you, Terry Funk. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I appreciate it. I loved you. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. Hardcore living legend. Forever. Forever. Forever.